Hi folks, and welcome back. It's that time. It is. We're going to do it. We're going to play Norway. We've got the Arms Against Tyranny DLC installed, and we're going to play it on historical AI focuses. So we are going to get attacked by Germany in 3940, something like that, and we're going to rely on our allies to come to our assistance. But the question will be, can Norway hold against the Germans? It's going to be an interesting one, especially with the new mechanics. So let's take a look and see how we're going to start this. For beginning, Norway starts with some issues. It's got a very small economy. Does have a lot of convoys to start with. Could be to our advantage. It's got a complacent cabinet, which is a load of debuffs for everything political. And division training time is, that is a huge penalty. It's got some obsolete armed forces, which we're going to have to get rid of. We can get rid of those. There is some stuff in the focus tree. I'll show you how we're going to do that. The hard 30s coming off the back of the Great Depression. Yeah, that's not great for the economy. We can deal with that. There is some anti-communist sentiment. Was fascism a thing in Norway? I mean, I know there was some there was some fascism in the UK with, what was he, Mosley? Or whatever he was called. Another tit. Anyway, and then we've also got crumbling fortifications. Now, this is something we're going to have to get rid of before the war kicks off, because we're going to rely on our sea forts to a lesser extent, the land forts, to keep the Germans out. They're all things we can fix, but first off, we're going to have a look at the national focus. Now, if you watched my video yesterday, I'll link this in the description. We talked about the different lines, because look, I mean, there's lots of governments we can use here to try and get off to a better start. We've got the vote of no confidence line, which replaces the current government with another democratically elected government, sort of in this case, but they are a democratic government. That's supposed to prepare better for war. Trouble is, it's bugged. That line is bugged with some of the issues, and it's a strange mechanic of trading convoys for military preparedness. Go watch the video if you haven't seen it. It's weird. We've got the current government, which leaves the military development alone and develops the economy. This actually is going to work better in the game's current state. And then we could, if we wanted to, switch over to a monarchy. That's got problems as well, but it might work out a little bit better for the army. We're not obviously going to look at fascism or communism. In this, a kind of historical with some alt reality, alt history focus. That's what we're looking for. So we're actually going to go to continue Nygaardsvold or Nygaardsvold government. Please, someone tell me how to pronounce this guy's name in chat, because in the comments rather, he's going to be a feature of the game for some time. So let's start that. It's a quick one, and let's hope I get this right. So we've only got 3 research slots available as Norway, and we need to get going with the industry. They have huge industrial problems to overcome, and a whole lot of catching up to do to put themselves on any sort of war footing. So we're going to get on with all of that. So that being said, we've also got some civilian factories. We've got very few. Most of these have been taken in consumer goods factories, which we're going to try and work those penalties over on and try and improve that. So what do we need to build to start with? I'll tell you what the plan is for holding. We have very limited manpower. So we're going to try and build some manpower efficient divisions as best we can, and we're going to focus on defense. Now, this defense is going to rely on Sweden not being invaded by Germany, which usually doesn't happen in historical focus, but I have seen them get dragged into a war because that's too long a border for us to try and hold. So we're going to try and hold the coast, most importantly, the ports, against German and Italian invasion. Yeah, they'll get involved as well. We won't have a strong enough navy at the start to control the seas entirely, and the Germans will be coming via Denmark, which I'm sure they'll take control of in short order. So we need to make sure the ports don't fall, because they'll be the supply hub for the Germans. If we hold the ports, even if they land troops around, as you've seen from other playthroughs, we can defeat them with strong counterattacks. We're also going to build up at least one air base, because whilst we won't have the industrial might to produce an air force early on, our allies can put planes into our airfields and help us. And this is assuming, of course, that our allies come to our aid. This is the plan. So we hold the ports. We have a small reserve force to go cleaning up German invasions that land. And we have to hope that works, because if the ports fail and Germany gets a foothold, it's probably going to be all over. But that's the plan, the hope and the dream. So let's see if we can do it. So civilian factories. We're probably going to want to build more of these because we have a huge problem with the economy to start with. Dockyards might also be useful, but I think if we're going to jump... Actually, what I'll do, we're also going to have a huge penalty for building these fellas as well, military factories. But I am going to put a couple in there. We might be just put one to start with. We can get some through focuses, so we'll do that. The 3 dockyards that we've got, we're going to put into convoy production. Oh, this is new, by the way. This has come in, I think this is in the patch rather than the expansion. But we now have... I'll show you this. What's the best way to show you this? I'll show you this another way. Here, we've got these, what do we call them? Military Industrial Organization. So basically, you now get companies. Is that the right term for these? In big industrial outfits that will or can assist you in building things. And you level them up by giving them stuff to research and build. And as you see, you get perk points, which then increases the stats of whatever they produce. So this is a new feature. There's a few new features in the game. But that is something that we will take advantage of. It's only a good thing, but it is more stuff to click. There's not really much choice with Norway. We're building like merchant and escort ships. We only have one factory to choose from, or one producer. So we pick it, and it'll level up. The other thing that's kind of new in this, or what is new in this, we've got the international market where we can buy and sell our excess equipment. That might be useful later if, say, you only had the resources to produce convoys or planes. Actually, planes might work for Norway. We will produce a lot of aluminium. You can sell those goods on the international market. You can become an arms dealer. So, and you can buy stuff as well that's offered. Although, when the war kicks off, you might not get offered very much good stuff because everyone else is going to want it. We also have... Let's have a look at the army. So at the start, the army is kind of small. It's also a little bit confusing. These aren't all infantry divisions. So we'll just put them into a force like this for now. And we're going to give General Karl Gustav Fleischer. He's got good stats. He's a winter expert, winter specialist. He's going to be our field marshal when we promote him. There's something else we have to do. There's a military decision comes up later. I will highlight it at the time. That we have to pick him for to be our chief of staff or whatever. Otherwise, he disappears out of the game. And he's the best general by far that Norway starts with. So we're just going to switch over. We don't need the cavalry, so we're going to switch them over to this one, which is a militia division. Well, I say a militia. I'll show you what it is. We have the infantry division, which is actually a decent template. You know, an 18-width pure infantry with engineers. This is a good place to start from. Also, support companies now supposed to work a little bit differently in this. They're supposed to give buffs to the battalions in the line. I think that's how they work. I haven't seen much to really explain this, but that certainly seems to suggest so from the stuff that's highlighted on the screen there. So that's something else that we need to consider. So yes, there is that, and the what I call the militia divisions, similar, just with less troops in. So that's fine. And that's to save the manpower, because we're going to actually get them in training. Everything can train up. We're going to pick a few divisions to put the manpower and good stuff in that we build. And that is going to hold the ports. That's the idea. Right, let's get this ticking over. If this is there's going to be a whole lot of waiting during the early game until the war kicks off. If there's too much of nothing going on and I have nothing to talk about, I'll just edit these pauses out, and we'll keep going like that until we get something interesting kicking off. Now, while that is kicking off, we start off with a bit of an air force as well. Excellent. Let me just sort this air force out. Now, what we have are some really outdated close air support planes. So we're just going to break down the air force because they're not going to be any use whatsoever. Let's have a look at the government that we've got. So we're continuing with, I believe, Norway's historical government that at the time didn't really think war was going to come or hoped war wouldn't come to Norway and therefore didn't prepare for it. So we really are going in historical in this, and this might cause some issues for us, but I think it's the best way forward until Paradox patch and fix the other trees, actually. You notice the other trees have vanished now. Right, so we've got leaving behind the hard 30s. Now, I showed you that one, didn't I? That is this one. So this gives us a huge demand on consumer goods factories, which we have to wipe out, and slows construction speed massively. So if we get that done really quickly, that's going to give us a nice boost, well, to stability and pretty much everything we want, but a boost to construction speed and get rid of that consumer factories debuff. It won't do all of it, but it's going to do a good chunk of it. And the other thing we can do is this broken gun policies. This is something we have to go down. Now, this affects your military production. It gives it a penalty to it. But civilian factory construction speed goes up. So you can see how this is designed. We do need to do this as well. This is designed to basically boost the civilian economy. And while that sounds counterproductive, it's going to work out for us. Just trust me on this, folks. Just trust me. I'm going to go for the broken gun policies first, because that's going to bring us up pretty quickly. Nygaardsvold cabinet. The government led by the Labour Party with Johan Nygaardsvold. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Do let me know in the comments. At the helm is the first stable government with a clear majority our young nation has ever had. The cabinet has been hard at work for the past year, pushing for measures that, albeit slowly, will help Norway come out of the deep economic crisis the country's in right now, securing the welfare of the people in it. Of course, these measures come at the cost of any military preparations we might need should we find ourselves enveloped by war. We can only hope these won't be needed. Only peace and stability ahead. Yeah. So there's going to be a penalty to war support, but a bonus to stability. That's fine for the moment. Italy's going at it in North Africa. Oh dear. Oh dear. Yep, they've instantly submitted. Shall we have a quick look? So did they get... Yeah, they got... I think they got this bit. So Ethiopia will crumble. Interestingly, the first time I played this expansion, just to test Norway out, I only got as far as 1940 to see how the government trees work. Ethiopia and Italy signed a white peace. Ethiopia didn't crumble. I've never seen that. Ever in all these historical games that I've played. So I thought that was quite funny. And I wondered if that was a sign of things to come. But I don't think it is. I think it was a one-off. Right, so the army... Let's have a look. We should have some proper divisions in here as well. Is that the... Do we only have one infantry division? Oh, Germany's going back into the Rhineland. That's probably not good. I think we only have one infantry division here. So we've got two in Oslo. These two... we definitely need something in there. We need to hold the ports. We'll need another one there in time. Two at Trondheim. Actually, we're going to need some more soldiers in, aren't we? We better get the radio. Not necessarily high on the list of priorities, but it helps with reinforcement rates. And if we end up in combat before we're fully ready, then we're going to need that. We need to hold the line. Right. This is important. Modify the government. There are lots of things you can do in here. We've got two theorists at the moment, and a military chief of staff who we can't get rid of. They're removed by focuses. They do come with some penalties. However, we need to save the political power as much as possible. So to that end, we also can't increase conscription to this one until we're at war. That's a problem. But it's something we have to live with. Civilian economy, if we try to increase it too far up, we can go to, or later on, we can go to early mobilization. Events trigger, and the people want to push it back down because they don't like it. So there's no point wasting it in there. We're going to go for, there's one chap in here, a compliant politician, 10% political power gain, and 10% stability is nice. And that's the only change we're going to make. And you'll see why in a minute when the next thing is, next focus completes. There, this one. So let's instantly, what can we do? So this will get rid of the hard 30s. Well, not all of it, but some of it. This one, command power increase and extra democracy support. That's good, but we'll do that in a minute. By the way, I'm just going to tell you the other thing we need to work at. We obviously need to start rearmament, and we need to get rid of this one. This will fix the broken fortresses and get rid of that penalty. However, to go down this tree, we need to get rid of the broken gun before we can even go down there. So, okay, well, that's stuff we're going to have to work out, but it's not too bad. Let's get rid of some of the 30s penalty. And then we go into here. That is not open yet. So which is the one we need? Is it Weathering the Storm? Unlocks decisions that allow using state development to defend Norway. I think it might be that we need. We need to get rid of the complacent cabinet. You see how all these moves that we have to make, they're all dependent on something else being cleaned up first. So which one is the complacent cabinet? Rearm for defense. That gets rid of the broken gun, I think, altogether, which is good. That removes the complacent cabinet. So basically, we need this one. We still cut the military budget, which makes production even worse. None of this is good. But we do need to get rid of that. And then we need to go down. There's lots of stuff to do. So let's get on with that one and see where that goes. So let me just tidy up the army. We've got a few... I want to make him a winter expert, but it's not quite enough command yet. So we're going to be doing lots of fighting in the snow. That is the plan. We can tidy up the navy. Let's see what navy we've got here. Let's merge them into one fleet. And we're going to put them somewhere safe and out of the way. Let's also get the industry going. I'm going to go concentrated industry because it has a slightly bigger boost than dispersed ones. And we're just going to have to hope. Just going to have to hope we don't get bombed the crap out of. So let's move these guys up to Trondheim. Or is this Trondheim? Troms. Doesn't show you in there, does it? Narvik. I've moved them to Narvik. Trondheim is down, isn't it? There it is. So I'm putting the fleet out of the way. We're going to go and train that up in a moment. So excellent. Bailing out the towns will give us an instant civilian factory. Useful. Print more money. This modifies the hard 30s even more. And civilian factory construction speed for a year. Okay, we need to wait until we're making civilian factories then. And then try and power through some of those. So I think right now we're going to go and cut the military budget. Are we? Yeah, okay, let's do that. We get rid of the nasty debuffs. And then we should be sailing from there. Speaking of sailing, let's see what we've got in the navy over here. So let me take these guys out. Put them into a reserve fleet. And we're going to put these are the subs. We don't have many. Yeah, I've got the right one there. It's fine. Let's give them there's a lone wolf commander in here. Submarine attack, 20%. So they do come with pretty much everything you would need for a navy, the Norway. I think when the DLC first shipped, they only had like one admiral. It was a bit of a mess. Put them on Silent Hunter. And I'll have to remember to come back in here and give them the other buff in a moment. Let me change this to torpedoes and yellow, because as the great Ringo Starr once said, all submarines should be yellow. That's fine. So I'm going to put them on training, just so we don't. I'm just doing a bit of time so we don't break down all the fuel. We have construction. We are in 36. I'm going to go straight for excavation because resources are another issue. Oh, they're a luxury that Norway doesn't have. But that's why we're going to build civilian factories, because that's how we're going to get resources. We're going to trade, probably with Finland, Sweden. Okay, so fascists harass Lev Trotsky. While a contentious revolutionary was out on a fishing trip with his host, fascists connected to the National Samling Party broke into Konrad Knudsen's home, where Trotsky was staying. The burglars were looking for any incriminated evidence that would justify getting rid of the exiled communist, but they were fortunately scared off the property by Knudsen's daughter, Hjordis, before they could grab anything of value. So, I don't really want communist support. I don't want fascist support. So, I don't want to put him under house arrest. What I'm going to do is this one says we could kill two birds with one stone. Norway's general crackdown on dissent. I don't want communism support. Non-core manpower plus 7%. No, I'm not going down that. I don't want to imprison him. Let's get rid of him. Meanwhile, there's a war going on in Spain, as there always is at this time of the game. Just change that to yellow. That didn't switch over, did it? There we go. Much better. Norway's general crackdown on dissent. After the altercation at Knudson's villa, it became clear that the political situation is fraught excuse me, with peril thanks to communists and fascists being at each other's throats. The bickering and political turmoil must be dealt with. Trotsky's presence risks bringing the ire of the Soviet Union upon us. Yeah, and we don't want to risk that because that would be bad. That would be bad. Let's have a look. At the same time, the National Assembly is sure to hand over the country to Adolf Hitler at the first opportunity, so their influence needs to be curtailed at any cost. The best course of action is sending him to Mexico, where Lazaro Cardenas has agreed to allow him into the country. This is for the survival of Norway. So we lose some stability, but it removes the anti-communist sentiment. Great, so that gets rid of the fascism support bonus. So that should stop going up. Brilliant. We don't want those stinking fascists over here. Excellent. So this is what I was wanting to open up. So this is where we get to develop each of our regions. And each of the different government lines you can take does this with different mechanics. This seems to be the best value one. Because the others, well, the government that prepares you for the war requires you to spam hundreds, and I mean hundreds and hundreds of convoys. I think you have to build 1,500 convoys to get this finished, and then an extra 300 to get rid of a terrible debuff. Strange mechanic. Go and watch the other video I mentioned. But this works on just political power, so this is a lot better. So when we develop one, we get 10% local manpower. Be nice to see that go up. And bonuses for civilian factories, again, for construction. And a penalty for forts. That's fine. If we level them up 3 times, we can then spend 3 times per zone when the war starts to then burn those bonuses to get something useful for the war. So we're just going to do this. This is the whole point of this. This is why we need stacks of political power. And we need to do this pretty quickly. We need to have this finished before any trouble kicks off. Is that some new music we've got playing? Seems a little loud, doesn't it? Music volume. Let's drop that down. I wish I had a percentage slider I could read there. Right, let's go. So we were sorting the Navy out, and we were cutting the military budget. Which give us that one. This one will get rid of the complacent cabinet. That'll help with division training time. Okay, let's do this. They all need to be done, so... Actually, the complacent cabinet does need to go. Because that one loses political power gain, and we need all the political power we can get right now. So the other things aren't such a big deal at the moment, because we're not training any new divisions. Because we can't afford them. You'll notice we do have some army experience going up. That's because of that general we've got in position. Okay, so we've got this. We've got a research slot free. Still in 36. I could go for this for just general improvement on research speed. It's tying one up for a long time though. There's bits of infantry equipment that need researching. I'm sure we can catch up on this later. I hope. Oh, we need trucks. We absolutely need trucks, because then we can research the hospital support company. And we're going to need that, because any way we can save manpower is going to be essential. The League of Nations Embargo Resolution. The League of Nations Council has decided to impose an all-out embargo on trade with Italy as a response to the country's unlawful aggression against Ethiopia. The sanctions include any and all resources that can be used for the production of war equipment. They are to be imposed immediately and remain in place until the country ceases hostilities against Ethiopia. Yep, it's the right thing to do. We'll gain some stability rather than lose political power. So Italy's going to hate us, but they were going to hate us anyway. So I think they've probably got the... Oh, maybe not. I was going to say they've got the war won, but this is mountainous terrain, and if they haven't taken the capital, Ethiopia can hold out a long time, but it's not looking good, is it? It's not looking good. Yeah, okay, they've gone. Me getting very hopeful there. Now, we've got 2 mine-laying destroyers here. Come on. We'll put them in a new fleet. New theatre. These will probably get taken out quite quickly once the war starts, but we might be able to get a few... Oh, I've done that wrong, haven't I? That's fine. That's fine. Put them in there. And the 7, new theatre. Just put that to the top. We did get the 2 mine subs in. Or destroyers, I should say. There's also an admiral with a mine-laying bonus. So we will, when we get round to it, build mine subs to try and defend the seas. We have to defend the coast as Norway. Social incrementalism. Excellent. So that gets rid of that complacent cabinet, which doesn't quite open that one up yet. It does open this one up, though, and that will give us an instant military factory and 10% war support. And it unlocks decisions to use state development when war comes. So we absolutely do need that selecting. I'm going to go for that now, because a military factory early on can produce stuff for a longer time. Concentrated industry. Oh, in November 36, we could press on, or I could pick something. There's lots of things we're going to want. I'll focus on the industry, I think, and I'm going to go construction. We're a little bit early on it, but it's okay. You see, construction is so slow. Oh, hang on, we've just missed a couple of things. You see, we've started to develop these areas. If I develop them a second time, same cost, but the second time, we get different bonuses. Which are the regions down here? Hang on, come off there. Let's go on to that one. Here we go. So I want the ones at the bottom, really, don't I? Because I feel like these are going to be the ones that we're going to build stuff in. Maybe I shouldn't, though. Maybe I should build the ones at the top, because they won't get attacked so easily. I think we're going to do them all anyway. Weathering the storm. Excellent. Neutrality Guard is for army experience. And that gives us 4 divisions of troops as well. It's basically like security forces, military police. I'm not sure. Oslo Fjord. Oh, that's where it's going to be created. Just 4 Norwegian units. They are kind of like militia, I think. They're not amazing. Let's go with the print money. See, lots of things to work down. And a civilian factory. This is... Okay, a military factory, I mean. We've actually gained 2, which is excellent. I'm going to put one into... Yeah, the anti-air. We're going to use an artillery manufacturer for this. We're already out of steel. That's not good, is it? Oh, we're going to get another one? Excellent. So that must have been the focus that gave us the 2 military factories. Excavation 1. We'll go straight into concentrated industry. So I'm putting every effort I can to get the industry up early on here. Excellent. That has finished. We will need... Let me click on that first. So we need some proper artillery as well. I don't think the convoys are as important, so I'll put those on a lower priority. Yeah, we're not going to spam those to use them for anything. So that's fine. At that point, we can actually modify the template of our infantry divisions. What else do I need? I don't have the research available to start developing an air force. We might rely on building licensed aircraft early on until we can get that going up. Infrastructure would be good, but I think there's a focus. Building an independent Norway. How do we do this? We need to get rid of the hard 30s for this. This one. Extra political power. Well, 4 civilian factories, so that is definitely good. I thought that gave us bonus to producing, building infrastructure. It doesn't. Not that one directly. Something else probably does. 2 factories for that one. There's things we have to get rid of. So this one helps with the hard 30s. Yeah, okay. I think I might get rid of it, actually. No, there's another one. Still. Damn it. Oh, wait. No national focus set? Oh, I thought I'd clicked on... that. Right, get me... Infrastructure would be nice just to improve the steel. Don't want to give away a civilian factory, but I bet this takes a bloody age to do. Where's our steel up here? That's going to take a long time with that. Right, let's start utilizing... Let's get rid of those. Let's start utilizing some of these building bonuses for civilian factories, shall we? It's going to be slow. What we can do is we can spend... Sort one. That one. Do you know what? Let's just tick all of these. We need to develop them all anyway. And that's all we're spending our political power on. So, Finnmark must be at the top. That one. Oplandine. I don't know my Norwegian geography at all. It's a country I'd love to go to, but I've never had the opportunity to travel there yet. Print more money. Restart public investment. This will get rid of the hard 30s. Let's go for it. It's only 35 days. That sounds like a good one. And then we can tick off one of those horrible debuffs straight away. And we've got the truck. Excellent. There's all sorts of stuff going on. More war in Spain. That's nothing to do with us. We'll leave them to it. We developed trucks. It's 37. Let's go and increase our production efficiency cap. Because that's really smarting from the debuffs as well that we've got. So if we can try and counteract that a little bit, that'll be nice. Let's edit the infantry division. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put this on elite status. Purely so I don't mistake the two in here when I'm choosing them. So let's give them some cavalry recon. And let's add in some anti-air and some artillery. And is there anything else we can put in? Not yet. We want the... Oh, we want the hospitals in there. That's actually going to put a bit of a... That's going to hurt this, isn't it? No? Not so much? Not too bad. Not too bad.